Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today I am going to be a boat enthusiast, and that is because for those of you who remember or maybe even don't remember, I got my boat license last winter, and due to my back injury and my hand injury, which is still recovering, I didn't really have any interest in getting a boat. And so just so happened that my cousin had a couple of extra tickets, so my dad and I are headed to the Toronto Boat Show, and well, I'm the newbie here, so you're gonna have to bear with me as I walk us through 6 hours of entertainment. That is what it is. 6 hours all compiled down to hopefully only 45 minutes, but basically I'm going to walk you guys through everything that I found throughout the show. And basically the whole point was to educate myself as much as possible on the brands, the different boats, different styles, you know, everything basically. Maybe even some, trailer information and whatnot. So definitely a very long day, almost 6 hours. We were there. So what I'm going to do for you guys, we're going to walk through the show, a bunch of videos and photos, and basically explain to you guys, well, what I found. And hopefully you guys find this very entertaining, because you don't have to worry about spending 6 hours walking around, and you get it all condensed in less than an hour. So let's get into it. All right, so here we go, guys. Welcome to the Toronto Boat Show, Exhibit Hall A. Yamaha actually had a boat just outside the entrance. You didn't have to pay anything, just filled out the form and signed up for it. So I might end up winning a boat, you never know. Now, walking in, I took a little peek around and then started off with these things. I'm not even sure what they're called. However, they're some sort of, I don't know, wakeboard, but they're motorized. They have a pretty unique design. Wasn't too sure what they were. There was no one there when I was taking these photos, unfortunately, but it's a product by Mercury, so I might have to Google that one, but I thought it was a pretty unique offering, so I figured I'd snap some photos of it. And then right next to it, we actually had Mercury's electric motors. So I know some people don't like electric cars or even electric motorcycles for that matter, but Mercury clearly has a demand for it, so they were showing those off. And then the racing engines, those things were so sweet. Here's one where they show a cutaway. This really lets you inside the motor. This shows you how it works, and the motor is basically like, I'm thinking of a car, generally they stand up, and these ones, they stand on their side, so a little bit weird. This was Sea-Doo, I don't know, decorations, I don't know what those were, but they look pretty cool. So 100 grand for this fishing boat, and this was the first booth, if you will, area that I checked out for boats, and this was UMS. And so I was checking out the boats. This is the first one I was actually recording. You can see the guy standing in there. That was Anatoly. He really set the bar high for my expectations. He invited me onto the boat. See UMS on the seat there. Really nice craftsmanship on this boat. Really, really cool. It is a fishing boat. I'm not necessarily interested in a fishing boat. However, a price point of $100,000, definitely a lot more than I would like to spend, but maybe not for the average, fisherman. Here he is showing me all the features of the boat. Really, really nice. Really, really liked the look of this boat. This was part of the process, right? It's looking at the cool stuff, and this one was right next to it, also a UMS product. This thing was so badass. Has a Mercury outboard there, and the quality. This one I had to take my shoes off for, by the way. He did tell me to take my shoes off for this one. I would say most of the boats you do have to take your shoes off, but some of them you don't. but this one you did. The other fishing boat I didn't. So this thing, there's the finish, the quality. This thing looks so cool, so badass. You know, it's a nice dark theme. The UMS embroidering there, this little trunk, which I would think that it doubles as a seating area as well by the looks of things. And the controls, I mean, the controls are pretty simple in this. I don't necessarily need something that's super complicated, so I don't know if I actually got the price on this one, but this one is definitely more appealing than the fishing boat because I want to have something that is enclosed just so that in the case I run into some bad weather, I don't have to worry about rain getting on me. But really, really cool boat and lots of little features on it. So here you can see UMS 700 HT specifications are there. Hopefully you guys can read those, but there was no price on it, unfortunately, but that thing was so sweet. And then I moved over to the next exhibit, which was Pride. I think Pride's the brand. I'm not entirely sure, but before I went over there, I had to check out these vintage boats. My dad was over there looking at them, and so I was like, okay, fine, I'll go look at the vintage boats. And I knew nothing about them whatsoever. There was an older gentleman there trying to tell me about this boat, so I basically just took a photo of the specs on it. He was trying to tell me that a famous actor owned the boat. I didn't even know who the actor was, to be completely honest. So little bit out of my element there. Then this miniature hydro boat. This was pretty gnarly looking, very tiny. You have to kneel on it to actually race that boat. And then there was this thing, which really old school. I mean, this motor. I mean, it's an old Chrysler engine, and I don't know what those are. I don't know the anatomy properly of a boat motor, but those just look so cool. Here is another wooden boat. I mean, look at the finish on this thing. This thing looks so good. I wouldn't own one. I would take a ride in one, I suppose, but I wouldn't want to own one. I would be scared of actually ruining it. And again, this is the Pride boat area. I don't know if Pride's the brand or the dealer. I'm not entirely sure, because you see in the back there it says Pride Group. These are some of the boats. I mean, these boats looked incredible. These, I believe, were classified as wake boats, wakeboard boats. This one, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like a lounging boat. Really bougie, by the way. Like, just look at this interior. I mean, insane. And also, the console is in the middle of the boat, so keep that in mind. Generally, it's on the right. This one is the GS22 Super Air Nautique. I mean, look at this. I mean, I was there for the eye candy. I was all for this. This is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. You would not believe the craftsmanship on some of these boats. The Centennial Edition as well. I mean, come on. And then you got light pods for the speakers and everything else. That is a fun looking boat. This one, again, just another variation of the same boat. I believe it was the exact same, but just different colors. This one, really nice blue. I think it's kind of a baby blue. And here we go, the Nautique G21. And again, Pride Marine Group. So Pride is, I think, the dealer group that's selling the boats. And Nautique, I think Nautique is the brand, maybe? I'm not too familiar with that. But the boats are just incredible. And they even had this, a design center. You can pick all the different colors if you want. And look at this, metal flake. I mean, I'm a Harley guy, right? You know, and I mean, I'm working at a Harley dealership, right? So I'm a Harley guy. I know paint really, really well. And this should get you excited. I mean, I know it's only a still photo, but really, really cool. This was an Alukin or something. I don't know how to pronounce this. Stabicraft or Stabicraft. Not entirely sure how to pronounce that one, but they've got some Mercury motors on their boats. This Argo wide body, this was one of the racing boats that was there. Those guys were actually shooting the shit with me about my Harleys and my bikes just in general. And then I found this at the Honda booth, Pioneer 1000. 39 grand for this baby. However, this thing is completely decked out. To be completely honest with you guys, I've never really gotten too close to these types of machines, so I took the opportunity to check it out. 3 seats in the front, 2 folding ones in the rear, you know, Honda Pioneer 1000. I mean, this thing is fully decked out, but back to the boat, 600 horsepower Verado by Mercury. You guys can kind of see how, you know, the propeller moves. And then another cutaway. These engines just look so crazy. I mean, this, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. I took it, I took a video of it to show you guys, but I don't even know what it is. I think it's maybe part of like the transmission or something. I don't really know. But again, I'm a newbie. I'm a fish out of water, you know. Mercury has some really sweet gauges. You know, that was something that it surprised me, but I guess it really shouldn't have. And we got a 6.2 liter engine. Now, this one I believe is classified as an inboard. Again, this was a Merc Cruiser, 6.2 liter Merc Cruiser. And basically, this is an inboard because the engine is inside the boat, as opposed to an outboard, where is fully exposed motor and propeller. Bayliner was there. I don't know if I got too many Bayliners in the video, but my dad owns 3 of them now, I believe. So this Mercury motor here, this is an outboard motor, so you can see the whole thing. This is on a Boston Whaler. This was the boat, I believe, was speculated to be worth $2 million. And as you guys can see, somebody else was checking it out just before I went on, and I think the name on the side there is Borealis or Boreal. I mean, you might not be able to tell from this photo, but the boat is pretty big. And I actually do go on this one to check it out briefly. Didn't spend too much time on it, but I mean, it's really well done. I mean, some of these boats, the craftsmanship on them, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, you know, spend $2 million on the boat. I would sooner spend $2 million on something else, but, you know, just the craftsmanship. I mean, look at the displays on it. And now, I think because there's 3 screens on it, someone was saying that it has 3 computers on it. And so it's definitely got a lot of technology on it as well. And again, the craftsmanship, I cannot stress it enough. You know, this walkway up the front, you don't have to worry about space at all. I mean, look at this. This is beautifully crafted. Lounging seats up front as well. And then we got some more fun boats. Malibu. This, I believe, yeah, Wakesetter, because I think it is classified as a wakeboarding boat. This one is an Access, and judging by the price, $153,000. Now, I don't have that type of money floating around, but a lot of the spec sheets were actually showing bi-weekly payments. And of course, if you can't afford that, maybe you can afford a Kawasaki Sea-Doo, or better yet, reading on the side of it, a Jetski. And this one, this little mount here, that is because this one is for fishing, believe it or not. So I didn't realize this, but they actually make Sea-Doos with the intention of people fishing with them. Supra hanging up there, that was a really cool exhibit. Then we have Lowe. This was just me highlighting the brand. Never heard of it before. This is also a fishing boat, another fishing boat. And generally fishing boats will have seats that put you in a pretty comfortable seating position so you can actually sit down and just cast out. Here is a Pursuit, I'm not sure what the brand is. Yamaha twin outboards on that one. Really, really cool looking boat. And then, of course, something a little bit simpler. The Dalmatian is not included. And, you know, these boats, this was, I don't know what brand this one was, but it has Yamaha all over it. So they're using the Yamaha engine, and very clean, very classy. I think this might be a Rossiter. I might not be pronouncing that correctly, but really nice boat. I like the color on this. Very, very classy boat. There we go. Rossiter, a Rossiter 23. Classic picnic boat. This is a picnic boat. So this one, max horsepower rating, 250 horsepower. Lots of people can fit on this boat. And, you know, it's one of those leisure boats, I would say. And that's what I like. I like, you know, just cruising along, you know, just taking it easy. Legend, these boats, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Legend boats, I mean, the name itself is pretty nice. And this one here, I don't remember what this one was, but huge, huge boat. Yamaha outboard. I think it was just a single on there. And again, craftsmanship. I mean, I don't know what your expectations are as someone who's new coming into this, but for me, I had pretty much no expectations, I guess. You know, I just kind of closed my eyes and then opened them as I walked through that door, and, you know, like, look at this. There's all the amenities, right? You know, you're able to use a stove, and you got a sink, you got a table all set up there as well. And I don't know if this was a little bunk underneath. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but a bunch of gauges in there. And obviously where the pilot is going to be sitting. Really nice, well laid out, easy to look at design. I think we've got a coffee machine here. Lots of space. So this is pretty standard. This is what I like. By the way, guys, this, you know, an overnighter, more or less. However, I think this one would be classified as a weekender, just because it has everything on it. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I think this actually has a shower. I think there was, yeah, that nozzle there. So you'll see right there. So it is a shower toilet combination. And then, of course, we get over to the utility boats. These ones, I think they are Hughes boats, but I could be wrong. These things are work or business, whatever you want. These are not really so much for playing around. As you can see, checker blading, so that you can load vehicles on it like an ATV. And then, of course, $250,000, so $250,000 on sale for $200,000. You know, the Lighthouse being sold from Central Marine or Central Marina. And this thing looked pretty sweet as well. However, the one thing that is very unique about it is the front end here, which I will show you guys in just a second after we look at the stitching here on the seats. This boat has a really unique feature, which is to help you with docking on the shore. So that folds down so you can actually poke the nose in onto the sand. However, not that I want to do any shit talking, that boat, that Lighthouse one, the finish wasn't the greatest on it. The paint, I wasn't too impressed on the front of the boat. Now, obviously we got a bunch of other ones here. Finseeker. A lot of these boats were just random. You know, it's kind of hard to see what's going on here, but again, max horsepower 600. And of course, this one was sold. This one was really cool looking. Somebody bought that one. And again, you know, being a newbie, you know, I'm just looking for something that I like. Something that's cool. Price, I am mindful of it, but I'm not too concerned about it as I walk onto a yacht. This thing, I don't remember how much, I don't know what the price was. I don't know how much it was. But this thing was super, super bougie. And yeah, I mean, this thing was probably worth $1 million. I don't know if it was worth 2 million, but definitely $1 million at least. This thing was really, really nice. This is one of those boats where, yes, you are taking your shoes off in order to get on board. And the overall finish, the layout, you know, it is just so, so nice. I mean, here's the thing, like, when you're checking out these boats, you know, you got to be respectful. Don't touch anything. Don't sit on anything. And, you know, you got a TV. I mean, it looks fully furnished, you know, from rugs to pillows. You literally have everything. I mean, look at that lounger there. This is a crazy, crazy looking boat. I wouldn't buy one, but if I won one of these things, I would definitely consider taking it out at least a couple of times just to say that I did. But the gas bill on it would be just way too much. Really, really cozy, comfortable, all the amenities. Again, TVs are pretty normal in this. I mean, as you guys can see, keep off the bed. You know, they got really nice presentation here. So being very respectful of these magnificent boats. Obviously, like, look at this. Like, they don't cut any corners on these for quality. I mean, that as a toilet and a sit-down shower even. I mean, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And here is another one, by the way. Yes, there's 2 on this boat. And, you know, like I said, you got a shower, you got a toilet, you got a full-size sink. The sink might even be bigger than my own that I have at home. That's how big this thing is. That's how roomy this is. And of course, moving into, I guess, the master bedroom. I don't really know. 24-inch TV in there. I think that was a storage closet. And again, tons of pillows. I mean, you're on a boat, so why not take a few extras? This one, again, oh look, bathroom number 3. And again, sit-down shower, toilet, and sink. So again, just literally just top to bottom, bougie boat. I like that word, by the way. A lot of these boats I describe as bougie just because of what they are. I mean, it's not meant to be a negative thing. It's actually meant to be a compliment. You know, they are really cream of the crop boats. Nothing that I would ever own, but definitely a heck of an experience, you know, checking these things out. Here's some of the specs on it. Dry weight, 28,000 pounds. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's got Volvo engines, and unfortunately this photo is sideways, but I don't know which model I was on. I think it was the Cantius. I think that's what I was on. And then, of course, moving on to some other boats. I mean, look at all these boats. So many. A bunch of Bayliners, I believe. And yeah, really, honestly, guys, there are so many boats here. I can barely keep up with them, especially just, you know, going back and reviewing them all. I tried to take as many photos and videos of all these. There's some pontoon boats there. And pontoon boats are party boats. Absolutely are. 229,000 for this boat. This one, I believe, yeah, so 250 horsepower, I believe. Yamaha outboard there. This boat is really well laid out. I'm not entirely sure what the brand was. I think it's a Jeanneau. I believe the stitching is on the seat to the right of us here. But we've got, again, another stove, table. Yeah, Jeanneau. It's got Garmin, so that should be the GPS unit on it. And of course, it has a bed. So this is one of the things that has to be on my boat. So whichever boat I end up going with. And this is a combination bathroom, I believe. So you got a sink, toilet, and shower. I think it is a full combination. That's why there's a little tray there, so that you can actually sit over the toilet while you're bathing. I believe that's what that is. So this is definitely a boat that I would consider buying. However, for, what was it, like $200,000? Maybe not. Monterey, running a Mercury. And again, these boats, honestly, I was so impressed by all these boats. Here we go. This is actually a new model, the Monterey. This thing looks really, really nice, well put together. It's not fully enclosed, but definitely a cool looking boat. Bayliner here, which was a little bit smaller, but not by much. And of course, we've got what looks to be a V8 Volvo Penta engine. I don't know if that 400 means 400 horsepower. Usually it does, though. Usually if it has a number on it, that's how much horsepower it has. This was a really nice inboard to do a little walk around of while my dad was chit-chatting the sales guy. And this is a twin inboard. So again, this is because the propeller is outside, the motor is on the inside. So that's why it's called an inboard. Here is another engine that was on display from them. This one was just a single. There you go, Volvo Penta. I've heard really good things about Volvos. Starcraft has really good products as well. I really like the blue. I was really attracted to things that are just kind of like, you know, my favorite color and whatnot here for the Yamaha Sea-Doos as well. Now, I don't think I would end up buying one. However, they do look really nice. I don't remember the prices on these, unfortunately. I wasn't too interested in buying one, so I guess you could say I kind of skipped on finding the price tag on these. But this one looks really nice as well. You know, a two-seater. I think there's even some three-seaters as well. But as you guys can see, these ones are called Wave Runners. And some of them actually have audio built in as well. This is just some eye candy Skeeter. I mean, I couldn't help myself. I just had to show you guys that. Lund is a brand. So Lund Boats. These guys are pretty good quality as well, I would say. And I think these are all fishing boats. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. And of course, we've got Suzuki motors. Yes, this is what I was waiting for. You guys can kind of see the propeller there in action. And another Starcraft with a Suzuki motor. Really nice. Oh, and a look at that. I found a DR650 King Quad as well with a boat engine on. I'm not entirely sure why. Now, this pontoon boat, Sylvan, really nice. You know, I mean, price-wise, you know, maybe it's a little bit out of your budget. And this one, Thunderjet. This, I really like this style of boat. I don't know why. Just something about it looks really, really cool. It's kind of got some utility aspect to it. I think there was some checker plating on it as well. And here is the thing, I don't know why, but they have two engines on it. One of them is the main one, which is the 250, and then there is a 15 Pro, which I think is just 15 horsepower. I think it's for like trolling or something like that. These boats a little bit smaller. I think they were called ABs. I'm not entirely sure, but these ones I think were classified as inflatables. They're just smaller boats. And of course we have to have a helicopter. This was for Airbus. I think this is for
rescue reasons. I was jokingly saying to my dad that it was for someone to put on their boat on the big yacht. And then, of course, sailboats. These things are huge, super fascinating. You know, Pat Sturgeon Yachts. These guys have been around since 1986, so they definitely know what they're doing. Suzuki boat. And Canoes, in case you can't afford motorized one. These ones, I think, are just mini sailboats. I'm not entirely sure what they're classified as. And then look at this. Look at the hull on this. Like, what kind of design is that, right? That just blows my mind. And this one, this boat was $1.7 million. There was a huge lineup, so unfortunately I didn't get an opportunity to walk on board, but crazy money, 1.7 million. I think it was 48 feet long, if I remember correctly. Tohatsu boats. These, I've never heard of Tohatsu before. I'm not too familiar with them. I have literally no knowledge about the brand whatsoever. But these ones, I think, were also inflatables. These guys were parked up right next to Suzuki. And then, of course, we have offshore racing boats, or at least one anyway. And this one was really, really cool. I mean, I'm not really claustrophobic, but looking into the cockpit of this boat was making the fear real, because look how tiny it is, look how compact it is in there. Sparco racing seats, very familiar with those because I'm a car guy first and foremost, but super cool to see the inside of this boat. Pretty gnarly, pretty gnarly. And then, of course, the engine. This is some more eye candy for you guys. This thing looks absolutely insane. You know, I mean, racing boats just blows my mind. These boats were pretty sweet. I don't remember what brand. They were running Yamaha motors by the looks of things. KingFisher. This thing looks pretty sweet as well. I don't know, there's something about that boxy look. Yeah, this gives you guys a really good idea. So, I don't know, I mean, way too much money for me. I think that was like 400 grand. But, you know, even this one, you know, 255X, looks really, really nice. And this one looks to be a Yamaha. But, I mean, just looking at them, your wallet is going to get scared off pretty easily. So, they've got tons and tons of models here. Again, blue. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. You know, Yamaha putting out a great product, and this boat was just killing it with that blue. This boat is a Regal. This thing, I walked around it at the beginning and wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get on board. So I went and looked at some of the smaller boats surrounding it. And this was the 38 Grand Coupe, or Coupe. I don't know if they actually pronounce it the French way. But I was looking at that boat and I was like, you know what? I'll check out the smaller ones first, just to get somewhat of an idea of what these ones are like. And so obviously they do have some small ones, but if that's not good enough for you, there is always a bigger one. And there is a full lineup for you guys to quickly look over. Regal Boats. I mean, it looks amazing. You know, the platform out the back is quite massive. I think it folds down, to be completely honest, on that one in the photo. Here we go, going on. The no entry sign, by the way, is for the side railing. You can walk around there, but obviously at a boat show, they don't want you doing that in case you fall off and get hurt. So that sign is to prevent people from walking around the side where the railing is. This thing, again, probably really expensive. I don't think I ended up finding out the price on it, unfortunately, but the quality is there. This thing is pretty much like any of the other big boats that I was on over the course of almost 6 hours. I mean, look at that. Do you really need a house if you have everything on your boat? To me, the answer is no. But obviously, there are some people out there that like or love that life of luxury, and I can see why. I mean, you've literally got anything and everything on this boat. Really nice design, lots of storage under the bed as well. Bathroom here, I think this had a shower in it as well, but there is definitely a toilet and sink. And then, of course, if you turn around, this looked like a sauna. I could be wrong about that, but it kind of looked like a sauna. So if it is a sauna, that's pretty cool. And of course, we've got another bedroom here. This was really nice as well. So you got 2 full bedrooms. And yeah, looks like another TV. Lots of storage space as well. And then we go back to the smaller boats, the more affordable ones. Sea-Doos, or jet skis, whatever they're called. Sea-Doo, honestly, I really like that brand. They've got some really cool machines. I think this was... well, it's got some luggage on it. It wasn't a fishing one. This one, I felt a little bit obligated because it's got my branding colors on it. The acid green. And then Sea-Doo, the lineup. Performance, adventure, touring, tow sports, sport fishing. I mean, you want it, we got it. Apparently, the Spark was a model that was really appealing. I think this one here, the blue one, is a 3-seater, judging by the curves in the seat. Here's the Spark that I mentioned. This one is probably one of the entry-level machines. So if you're looking at an entry-level one, this is probably the one to start with. Here we go with Hughes, I believe. I believe this is a Hughes boat. This looks more like a utility boat. Hughes 250 Alaskan. I was really crushing over this one just because it was probably one of the most unique boats with that styling on it of the enclosed quarters. So twin 250s on the back of that, I believe, for 500, and I think the max horsepower was 600, so you can put twin 300s on this one. You could spec it out that way. $259,000. I don't know if it comes with a trailer or not, but definitely comes with motors. And again, this is more utility. It's got checker plating everywhere, and just to the left behind this open door is actually a toilet, by the way. They squeezed that in there, and the quality is really, really good. The welds on this, by the way, I know you guys might think it's a little bit weird because you can see the welds and they've painted over them, but the welds, honestly, from what I could tell, the welds looked flawless. So this boat definitely looked appealing to me. There was also a ladder to go on the roof. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe you go up there to cast out a fishing rod, maybe. There's where the toilet is, just in that little boxed area. So this one was really, really nice. Got some decent lighting. Maybe it could be better, but we've got Canoes again, in case you're getting sick and tired of seeing boats worth $250,000. Or this one, which is probably millions of dollars, Ray Marine racing boat. This is very similar to the other offshore racing boat. This one has twin 300s on it, I believe. And yeah, I mean, I've seen offshore racing. It's pretty crazy. And speaking of crazy, look at this. I hope I say the name right. KTD Diesel Motorsports. The lady was sitting there just keeping an eye on the motor for the guys probably back at business, making another one of these beautifully crafted machines. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the motor, but it kind of looks like a turbo diesel. Now, these boats here, I'm not entirely sure what these ones are, but they are inflatables. There was a bunch of inflatables. I think these are actually the Tohatsu boats again. And basically these are, you know, some of the ones that are, I guess, more in my price range with Suzuki coming in here as well. I definitely like Suzuki, even though I like their motorcycles more. Their boats and their engines definitely are appealing just from a brand perspective anyway. So this was pretty much near the end. There you go. This is what I can afford, guys. This thing was about $3,000, I believe. So yeah, that's what I'll be buying because I can't afford a $250,000 boats. I can't afford those.
Well, guys, what did you think of the Toronto Boat Show? Obviously, I didn't get everything into this video. There was just so much. Definitely had a lot of time, and I think we made pretty good time, to be completely honest. Almost there for 6 hours, like I said, and condensed quite a bit. Basically just got a lot of the highlights. There were, you know, some things that I maybe skipped over that just maybe didn't really appeal to me. You know, this was more for me, honestly. And, you know, for anyone who is interested in going to these shows, I mean, it was such a great show. I've never been before. And, you know, gathering, you know, video footage, photos, you know, checking out a little bit of the history of the old wooden boats, that was pretty cool as well. And obviously I didn't have enough experience to, you know where to go. Basically, we just did our sweep of the entire show, and I mean, it was really cool. Got to see a lot of different brands and basically dip my toes into it, I guess. You know, it's something where, you know, my dad's been there tons and tons of times, you know, so for him, I don't think it was super exciting for him. Obviously, there was, you know, new boats there and some, you know, pretty cool things, right? You know, but in terms of that, I guess, wow factor, it's a little bit different, right? When you're new, you're going, oh, wow, like, where do I begin, right? So it was kind of like that for me, which was pretty nice, but it was still relaxed. It wasn't very busy, which was nice. So Monday, definitely the day to go. And I'm going to show you guys some of the goodies that I got because Yamaha was the sponsor. They ended up giving little tote bags, I think is what they're called. And so I have a lot of goodies in here. And this is one thing that if you guys are looking to buy a boat, whether you have your license or not, going to the boat show is really informative. You get an opportunity to ask questions and you know, just be entertained, really. And a lot of the salesmen are very open to answering questions, talking to you. I would say most of the salesmen were really good. There were a few that were, you know, like sitting at desks and not really making an effort at all. But the ones who did, I mean, they were just walked up, asked you how you were, and, you know, said, hey, like, do you have any questions about the motor or the boat or whatever? And most of the time, I didn't have any questions. And of course, if I did, you know, just like, oh, I'm curious, like, you have a spec sheet on this or whatever. So I was doing a lot of videography and photography, basically just trying to have all that information so that I could keep it for myself, but also relate to you guys, because some of you might be very interested in this, or maybe you've never really been interested in boats, and maybe this will spark your interest. Maybe it'll inspire you guys. Obviously, you can't go to any event without getting some free pens, and I obviously got my favorite brand, #1 brand, Suzuki Yellow, actually, and they have the X-Star brand on there, which I believe X-Star is their oil. And I've seen X-Star before, or I've at least heard of it. I also got a pen from the York Regional Police, and it's blue, so why would I not grab it? So, and funny enough, the yellow is almost, the same as my brand colors for the channel. So yellow and blue. So that is actually perfect for my branding. And the other thing that I really couldn't do without is all of the safe boating tips, all the cards, a lot of that stuff was there. I mean, I have one here, what you should know about carbon monoxide. So basically that is when you are near other boats that are idling. So if you're at a dock for a long period of time, you could end up, coming into contact with that sort of thing. So a lot of information there, which I really appreciate, because as someone who hasn't actually piloted a boat yet, but I do have my license, obviously I've been trained, I passed the course, not a big deal. However, maybe, just maybe, you might forget what to do. So something like this definitely comes in handy. It's a nice reminder. You can put it in a binder. You can actually make a binder for going out on the water. And I actually got a second one as well from another vendor that was there. And most of the stuff that I have here, I mean, I've got Canadian Boating Magazine, which has a ton. This is gonna be difficult to hold it up for you guys. I'm gonna try to hold it up, but there are just tons and tons of information in this type of catalog. So you've got tons of different boats, the style of boats. Like I don't necessarily know all of them, and I might make another video, so I'm not rambling so much in this one, but basically what it comes down to is figuring out what you want to do, the boat that really, caters to that, the kind of whole purpose of you getting your boat license. And the thing is, you need to grab as much information as possible. This show, like I said, I got a bunch of things in here, not as much as my dad, because he ended up getting a parts catalog or something that was super heavy, and he basically grabbed all the stuff that I didn't. Obviously he grabbed some stuff that was similar, but a lot of stuff that I wouldn't be interested in, because I'm not running a business. I'm literally just looking at this as a leisurely toy, if you will. Now, the one insurance company, NFP, this dude was absolutely awesome, and I didn't expect him to do this, but he gave me an entire safety bag, just like everything that you would need, more or less. So this is gonna be really good. I'm laughing because the guy was like, "Oh yeah, you guys can grab whatever you want," and I was like, "Oh, no, that's all right," because sometimes I don't want to take too much, right? And this is a big bag, full of safety equipment. And of course, my dad goes, "Oh yeah, you should definitely take one. You're accident prone." Thanks for reminding me. And so, definitely really cool. There's a lot of vendors there. Some of the vendors go above and beyond for you, like giving out stuff like that. And then, of course, you got ones that maybe aren't the greatest. They just kind of stand there and yell at you. Well, not really yelling at you, but they're like, "Hey, do you need insurance?" And it's like, wrong approach. Absolutely wrong approach. You definitely want to wait for someone to either approach, or don't be on your phone. Pay attention to who's walking by. Give them a little wave, nod, smile, ask them how they're doing. And I think for me, my takeaway was the majority, yes, the majority of vendors were, very approachable. Again, this was my first time there, so first impressions are very important for me anyway. I mean, my dad, like I said, he's been there many times, and so for me, this was all about first impressions. And there are a lot. Now, I don't know if I have it handy. So I do actually have the 3 business cards that I got. So one of them is JC Pash, I don't know how to pronounce that. And the website jcshot.com. And well, it says established in 2017 where heat meets flavor, Ancaster, Ontario. This guy gave me a sample of spicy honey jelly or something. I don't know. It was pretty good. And they sell a bunch of different products. This is completely unrelated to boats, obviously. But when you're walking around and your stomach is kind of growling at you, and there just so happens to be a food or hot sauce vendor kicking around, you know, you end up getting a shout out in my boat video. So definitely, if you guys are interested in that, check it out. And NFP, this is the insurance guy, Andrew Walke. So this guy, again, NFP. So if you guys want to check that out, just, I don't know, Google NFP Watercraft Insurance and give Andrew a shout. That guy was really great. He's the one that gave me that first aid kit. And my first ever impression was UMS. Now, that is Ukrainian Marine Shipbuilding. So UMS Boats, pretty sure his name is Anatoly. Now, UMS Boats, out of Canada, so they do have a website, umsboats.ca. He was the first guy that basically invited me onto a boat. And you guys will see that in the video. That was the red fishing boat, and then the other one, I don't know what it was really classified as, but it was a really cool boat. It was basically black or charcoal. I'm not entirely sure what color that was, but that was my first impression. So shout out to UMS as well. I mean, honestly, guys, this is the thing. If you're going there and it doesn't matter what someone's wearing. I mean, I was dressed in my Harley gear and basically advertising that I wasn't a boat guy. That was kind of my goal, because I didn't want people to think, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. I wanted to kind of make it obvious that I was a motorcycle guy and not a boat guy, so that when people would approach me and be like, hey, how's it going? I'd be like, oh, how's it going? They would say, do you own a Harley? And be like, oh yeah, I own a Harley. I just got my license for my boat last year. At least they can start off the conversation properly, kind of give them some hints as to why I'm there, because I don't really want to be wasting anybody's time, right? So if for some reason maybe that was a deterrent for some of the sales guys, maybe that's why they were just kind of sitting there and not doing anything, whatever, by all means, your loss. So for me, I got so much value out of going to the show. Really, really great. Really happy with that experience as a whole. It was really, really cool. Got to see a lot of different things, and I would potentially go again. Next year. Might even go to some other shows. I've been to the Sportsman show numerous times, so I definitely have memories going there. But going there specifically to check out boats, I mean, there was a boat that was supposedly $2 million, another one that was like 1.7, and I went on 2 really nice boats. So, I mean, I basically went on boats that I will probably never own. So, that's pretty cool. And in terms of food, I will make one last shout out to Pika Pika. I believe it is pikapikafoods.ca or .com. You guys will have to check that out online. The guy was great. Gave me some free samples of olives because I love olives. And I ended up buying some baklava off of them when we left. So, just great personality. I don't know what his name was, but great personality. There was 2 other girls working there with him as well. But Pika Pika Foods, definitely check them out. I don't know where they're located, but definitely really good baklava, really good olives as well. So, you know, I know it's not boat related, but the thing is, I like to be as inclusive as possible. If someone does me a favor, if someone is going, if you ask me, above and beyond, I'm going to give you a shout out in my videos. So, free advertising for you guys. But I think that's enough rambling. I think you guys got the gist of it. You know, boats can be very expensive, and you know, some of us, maybe we can't afford $250,000, you know, or $100,000 boats, but maybe we can afford to get a pontoon boat for, you know, $38,000 or something like that, because there was a lot of deals going on at the show. And you know, to be completely honest, I mean, it's no different than buying a car or a truck or whatever. So if you're really looking to go boating and you're going to use it a lot, it's a great opportunity. Go to the show, talk to dealers, gather as much information as possible, whether it be about insurance or anything else, you know, packages that they can put together for you guys, towing, tow vehicles, whatever. I'm going to need to look into that as well. But put all that stuff together, because it's not as simple as paying a small sum of money, getting your license, you know, studying the course, passing the test, and just picking up a boat. Because boats, I mean, it's a pretty serious thing. You wouldn't just go and get your license for a car and just buy any old car, right? You would do some research. So that's more or less what I did, and I think I accomplished that. So I'm pretty happy with the end result. So again, hopefully anybody who sees this video who I gave a shout out to, hopefully you guys see it. And if you do, leave a comment down below so that I know you guys actually saw the video. And of course, smash that like button so I know that it's working. Comments, questions, leave them down below. Are you guys interested in seeing any more boat content on the channel? I do plan to make a couple more videos at least, just to kind of go through the paces of what it's like to, you know, research brands or whatever. So I think there's probably a couple more videos that I can do about boats. However, if you guys really want to see something specific, or if you have any questions about some of the stuff that I saw at the show, let me know down below. I'll review my footage, my photos, and if you guys want to see the contact cards, you know, like for UMS or whatever, or the insurance card, I can also leave that in the comment section for you guys if you want a direct email to contact these people for your own use as well. So if you want that, let me know. And last but not least, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.